Here we go. Yes, Murray State is on blue and red.
Impure fools.
First ban coming out from Bok. First ban from Murray State is Vayne because, well, Vayne Ranger. You'll notice I have a new overlay set up specifically for the match, so you'll know where Murray State is and where Bok Choy is. Pantheon banned. That's just the insta ban. He has been practically, I think, 100% banned in Worlds so far. This Worlds tournament. Not surprising. Good ban from Bok Choy there. Next ban from Murray State. They said no Garen. Garen's OP right now. It's he's brain dead champ. You can pretty much run down the lane with him because that's what I do. And I don't have bad games. We still lose, but I have a good game. Next ban from Bok Choy is going to be... So we've got some Overwatch players in the chat. Do you guys think they will ever add bans to Overwatch? Morgana ban. That's a support ban. Blocking out the KG. Third ban from Murray State. They're probably going to ban...
Seriously?
Oh, Rakan, they ban a support. They ban a...
Lame.
Lame. Alright. Third ban from Bok Choy, and then we get to see our first set of picks. The clock is ticking. Ticking. Who will it be? 5, 4... They banned Kaisa. There's the ADC ban. All right, now we go to the first pick. Murray State's first pick for tonight. This is going to be a straight up Ornn. We've seen Ornn every game so far. So, or at least every series. I can definitely say that. So, will we see another Ornn pick from Murray State? He didn't get banned. Jarvan. Jarvan is a good jungle pick. I don't know if he's a top lane pick, but he might be using him as first pick coming up for Bok Choy. I don't know. If you guys have never ate Bok Choy, I highly recommend it. Sort of a onion cabbage type vegetable. It's good. You mix it in a big stew. Zaya, there's the ADC pick coming out already from Bok Choy. Their second pick. Do we have the Klipper?
Hey.
Hey, Leona. Hey, you're not able to see these bands and picks, so I will spout them off to you.
Sounds good.
All right, so Murray State has picked Jarvan the 4th, and Bok Choy has only picked Zaya and Leona, so they have their bot lane. I guess Murray State has its jungle. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do. I know, who is it, Knife Cloud, that's on that Jarvan. He really likes his AD Jarvan picks. Usually you build Jarvan kind of tanky,
right?
But he enjoys his more Tiamat into more damaging items like Sterix Gauge and the like.
I've gotcha. We have a Caitlyn pick from Murray State. Not surprising at all, considering last week.
Going 12-4 or something on that heartbreaking loss.
Galio also coming in from Murray State, so that's probably the mid lane.
Galio got a pretty significant buff, actually.
Yeah.
So for him to be picked is not surprising at all. He's very tanky, and his Q actually does % damage, I believe.
Ah, okay.
I'm tuning into the stream so I can see the picks and bans.
We got a Vi pick coming out for Bok Choy. That's their jungler. Guaranteed.
Vi, that is a direct counter against Caitlyn.
Oh, okay.
The entire point of Vi will be to kill Caitlyn in team fights if she gets fed. Even if Vi kills Caitlyn and then dies afterwards, that's just fine because Caitlyn's dead.
Right. But I thought Vi and Caitlyn were buddies.
Not in this matchup. Murray State's Caitlyn is just smack talk the Vi, so she chose the other side.
I got you. We see a Lysandra ban coming out of Bok Choy. I'm not sure who was going to play Lysandra on Murray State, but they've locked that out for him.
That's an interesting ban because Galio can definitely be flexed top lane as well. And the idea of a Lysandra pick into this would be she pops her ult on Vi as Vi goes in, and that would be one of the few counters to Vi just one-shotting Caitlyn, especially late game. There won't be much a Caitlyn can do.
We've got a Gangplank ban from Murray State and a Syndra ban from Bok Choy.
Okay, that also doesn't surprise me. Syndra is very strong right now.
Syndra's. I don't think I know of a time that Syndra's not strong. And a Yasuo ban coming out from Murray State. They don't want anybody playing Yasuo.
Yeah, again, Yasuo is not so much, I guess, in higher elo picker ban, but in professionals.
Hey, it's like I always say, if you've got a Yasuo on your team, they're the worst in the game, and if the Yasuo on the enemy team, they're the best in the game. So probably.
I have been destroyed by my fair share of Yasuos in my day.
Probably the meaning there. All right, Ezreal pick coming out for Bok Choy, so that's interesting. I guess he's probably the mid laner. They already had the Xayah and Leona group.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess he is the mid laner. I guess the idea of Ezreal is because there's not much you can do to kill a Galio, especially with his W passive. He gets a magic shield on top of his normal, pretty tanky life. So the idea of Ezreal will be to poke him out and then wait for team fights when Ezreal will do an astronomical amount of damage.
Yep. All right, we've got the Shen coming out from Murray State. That's more than likely the top lane.
Yep. And the idea of the Shen will be to keep the Caitlyn alive when the Vi goes in on the Caitlyn.
Right. It looks like we're having a lot of dive and global presence. With the Galio, the Jarvan, and the Shin. And the Jaina support coming out from Murray State.
That doesn't surprise me because last time their big issue was they grouped up and then they got CC'd as a group by a Renekton.
Right.
And then they were all killed. So if you have these global ultimates and teleports, it looks like they're running 2 teleports as well.
Yep.
So with 2 global ultimates and 2 teleports, you can be anywhere on the map.
They are extremely mobile.
No matter what happens, yeah. So it's looking like a dive/pick comp. So if Jarvan ults somebody, then at least 2 more players can be there pretty much instantly.
Yep.
With not much response, actually.
Doing the shuffle, Shen in top, Jarvan in the jungle, Galio mid, Caitlyn and Jaina in the bot lane versus the... Oh, hang on. Oh, they're doing the shuffle. Ezreal up top, Vi, Vladimir in the mid, and Xayah Leona in the bot. Unexpected.
Interesting for sure.
I wonder if this will change at all. Or if it's just to throw Murray State off. I also need to let you know, you haven't been here for this. Murray State's already up a game.
Oh.
They had to, Bok Choy had to call in an emergency sub, which gave us an instant win.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And was the emergency sub because one of their players didn't have 100 ranked games?
No, one of their players was asleep.
Okay.
They're claiming that the person was they said nappers got a nap, so the dude, they couldn't get a hold of him and he didn't show up, so they were like, we have to call an emergency sub that's not on our roster, that it's okay as long as we lost. So they took a loss. Now we're just waiting for the spectator delay and we'll be in the match.
It's quite the, I believe the technical term is oof yikes.
Yeah, there was a lot of oofing going on in chat. So I'm really surprised if this Ezreal actually goes top lane. Is that even viable?
Yeah,
like,
it's interesting. So it would be, I would a bad choice basically to put Vladimir against a Galio, because Galio does have that spell shield, and with his taunt, Vladimir's usual phase ruck proc will not go through because he's taunted. So I would be surprised if they put Galio, or excuse me, if they put Vladimir mid. Yeah, Ezreal's just a much more viable mid laner, unless the idea is to try and get Ezreal fed
early and then
lane.
swap.
Yeah, with like, camp top lane with Vi and Ez, and then Ez becomes a tank shredder.
I can see it.
He builds, especially in this situation, he'll build Iceborne Gauntlet, which will give him mana, slows, and armor, and some attack damage. But the idea is that you can just keep kiting away, which is good against Shen, who the idea is that he dashes and taunts on you. But if Ezreal can just stay away, then that would be good. So Ezreal into Shen is not terrible as long as you haven't sacrificed a tank.
Mm-hmm.
And they have more bruisers. Vladimir will dominate the late game, and Leona, if she's built tank, will be okay. But and Leona's also running Ignite, which is interesting. So they're planning to go very aggressive in the bot lane, it looks like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you go Leona, support, you're usually planning to go pretty aggressive. Yeah. She is tanky, but she's unhappily tanky. Like, she's in your face the whole time. It's not like it's not like going up against a Brand who's just like, oh, I'll soak up all the damage. It's like, I'm soaking the damage. Oh, and I'm gonna smite you. I'm gonna,
And I'm gonna keep going. Yeah. As a former Brand support one trick, that is absolutely correct.
Now I'm looking at the Murray State picks compared to their OPGG listing, and it looks like Murray State is they pick champions they don't play that often. They're not picking their top picks. Cersei Bubbles has played Galio 7 times this season, but he has a 57% win rate with Galio. So they're comfortable on these champs. They just don't play them that often. Kind of curious to see if this is more of we're up a win, so let's try, something we should have been practicing a lot more.
let's troll the game.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to say troll the game. I just think they're just like, it's good sportsmanship to give them kind of the benefit of the doubt type thing.
Yeah,
and I can respect that.
I'm looking at their OPGG right now also. And yeah, I know Skra is pretty good on that Caitlyn, actually, especially once she hits a couple item crit spike.
Mm-hmm.
She will be dealing out a lot of damage left and right. I suspect they will win lane.
Okay.
Unless this Xayah is really good at landing roots, just because Caitlyn has so much distance poke. And a good Janna will go very harass heavy in the early game. Run in, pop her shield, drop her Q, get that speed boost with the damage, and then just run away.
I got you.
And you do that 5 or 6 times, and then, throw in a tornado, see if you can kill something.
Sure. It looks like the Murray State team is definitely taking advantage of League Unlocked in the lab tonight. They've got a quiet, wonderful amount of skins going on. Let's get the scoreboard up and time controls up. I'm going to have to turn the sound down just a little bit or I won't be able to hear you.
I believe Darkstar Jarvan and Enchanted Galio are very rare skins. I don't think I've ever seen those in-game before.
Well, you've seen them now.
For the first time.
For the
Warlord
first time.
Is pretty good. And we are in game.
We are in game. So I will let you kind of describe what's probably going to be played out here. We're watching. I'm going to run the directed cam. Oh, early pick on Skra. Skra better get out of there. They're going in hard on that ADC, and they put in a lot of damage, and he is just going to be done. There's no way he's getting. Oh, my God. He got out, folks. They're still going for it. He's going to make it. First blood to Skra. Oh, my God. He finally drops, but what a sacrifice coming out from this team early. Oh, we've already got another fight. Knife Cloud here on Vayne Ranger. It puts the damage in, but they back up. We don't even have minions on the map yet, folks. All right.
This was a very ambitious first play.
That's quite the slobber knocker.
My spectate is behind your spectate, I believe.
All right, I apologize for that. I will.
No, it's okay.
Luckily, I'm doing the play-by-play. So, was that a flash? Did
So my analysis will come a few seconds after. What minute mark are you at? Or what second mark?
I am at 133.
I'm 10 seconds behind you.
Okay. We've gone into standard play now.
the normal after the 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Although Murray State came out ahead of that because First Blood is an extra 100 gold.
That's right.
So Murray State will be standing at 100 gold lead in the early game, which should give Caitlyn, an early dagger. Or longsword, early longsword.
That was a phenomenal play from Skra.
that perfect. So what happens is when you get caught by Caitlyn's net, it launches Caitlyn back, slows the target, and the next shot is automatically a headshot because of her passive.
Ah.
So he launched back, slowed them just enough to take that extra tower shot into the headshot for that automatic crit, and got the first blood, which is 100% worth. for Murray State, especially considering how hard Caitlyn scales and her weak early game.
It's those faker plays coming out from Murray State, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Right off the bat. You know they got hyped in that lab.
They did. Oh, the screams were probably through the roof.
Echoing off the wall.
Oh, yeah. They'll be calling public safety.
The police will show up. So I just want to point out what Skraw's doing right now in the bot lane, where every time the opponent steps up, he autos them, because Caitlyn gets that really long auto with her fleet footwork.
Right.
She gets extra, or not with the fleet footwork, with her passive, she gets some extra range. So every time they step up, Caitlyn's got one of the farthest auto attack distances of any champion at early levels. So they walk up, and then she just hits them with that, and then she gets the fleet footwork proc, which heals her, and they're good to go.
Vlad just took down Cersei Bubbles in the mid lane. They were going pretty toe-to-toe, but he was able to pull off the kill.
Going in, and it looks like he almost had him there, actually, but Vlad heals for an insane amount, and it looks like most of that actually was minion damage, because Cersei Bubble fought inside the minion wave, and I would wager he took probably a third of his health in minion damage.
He's going back in now. Vlad's already down below half. I'm not sure if he's going to have the abilities available to him. He's just auto-attacking away on this Vlad. Walking into the tower, Vlad pops that health ability, but he gets out without taking any more damage.
Q heals him for such an astronomical amount.
And they were going to have a jungle attack come in, but Vlad just kind of dips out. So it looks as though Shen is actually being bullied quite a bit from Ezreal. That was unexpected to me. But I guess with your range to melee, it's a little easier.
Yeah, it's got so much. And with the Kleptomancy, that's pretty much kind of the...
Oh, we got a fight building up in the jungle here as the Galio dives in on the Vi. Vi's punching away at this Galio, but Jarvan's there too to help out. And here comes Jaina to throw up a tornado, and they get the Vi. They drop her down. The bot lane for Bok Choy not able to come really support. They dive in hard on the Xayah and take her down, and then they go right back onto the Vlad. Jarvan takes in, but Vlad is going to dip out. No tornadoes from Jaina are going to stop him today. And Shen's just calling, hey, guys, little Ezreal help?
So I'm just, I'm watching that fight right now, and that was actually played really well by Murray State, where they all went towards one target and then all went towards the other instead of getting split. If they were split, they would have definitely died, because that Xayah actually had a really good route. It was the Galio taunt that came in and assured her death, and she even died with heal still up, which is not what you want to be happening.
Right. We got a Galio taunt back on the Vlad, but him and Vlad are just kind of going toe-to-toe here. I'm afraid that Galio's not quite confident enough. He's not really thinking about the numbers right now, because it's like you said, Vlad Q is able to heal him back up. So even if Vlad's low, what do we got going on here in the bot lane? Looks like Bok Choy is going for the early first dragon here. So they've started it. I'm not sure if Murray State is even aware. Let's see real quick. Murray State has no clue.
Vi's really good at taking those early dragon pressure. Her passive armor break or something like that, it just causes the amount of armor after she uses her Q that any epic monster, any monster at all, has to go down, so she's able to take objectives really fast, especially if she has help.
Yeah, and she had the entire bot lane help there. The Murray State bot lane was nowhere to be found. They were, I guess, busy shopping or something like that, but they just went there.
Full health? I assume after that fight, Caitlyn had a lot of gold and didn't think that...
Yeah, I believe they refreshed items.
Yeah.
Caitlyn and Jaina are quite full in their inventory right this moment.
And I just watched an interesting play in top lane where...
Oh! Speaking of interesting plays.
Oh. Ezreal and Shen went in on each other and then both flashed away from each other, expecting the other to keep going aggressive. So both flashes down in top lane.
Yeah, but Rezogun goes ahead and cleans up Ezreal real quick, and he's going to get to push that lane.
Oh, I'm seeing that part now too. Yep, there it is.
There it is. Nice and clean. We still got this back and forth going on in the mid lane, and I don't know. Galio probably needs to play it a little safer in my mind right now.
Yeah, I would like to see Galio go first item Marilla Nomicon. What that does is it inflicts what's called Grievous Wounds, which will reduce the amount of healing that Vladimir gets.
Gotcha. Skraww with another kill on the Bok Choy support, and Vayne Ranger has slain KG, but Skraww goes ahead and gets vengeance for his support. And now the bot lane has a massive wave, just huge wave going in the tower. Vlad goes in, takes out the Galio. Jarvan's there to finish up And yeah, holy crap. Jarvan and Shen clean up the mid lane after a Galio death to Bok Choy, and it is 7-4 lead to Murray State, a 2,000 gold lead, and Caitlyn has free shots on the bot tower, so that tower is pretty much donezo at this point.
There's a lot to break down on what happened there.
Right?
So Leona went in without Xayah's consent, basically. Xayah was not prepared to go in. She didn't have feathers set up, nothing like that. So Leona went in and died pretty quickly. Janna, I think, must have misclicked her shield, because I think it was off cooldown. But she died for Caitlyn to get a double kill, which is incredibly worth it, because Caitlyn is just sitting on a tremendous amount of gold now. Mid lane, Vladimir actually played that extraordinarily well and actually traded kills in a 3v1, which is worth it for Vladimir personally, but overall not worth it for Bok Choy.
For Bok Choy, yeah. So we've got a gold lead for Murray State. We've got a kill lead for Murray State. We've got a fight in the mid lane here. Vi's coming in after Galio taunts the Vlad. She knocks him up in the air. He's still got some HP to go. He's going to walk away a bit more, but Vi's going to take that kill. And Galio is just having all sorts of trouble in this mid lane tonight. We feel bad for Cersei Bubbles.
And that might be their plan, honestly. Now that they have identified that Cersei Bubbles is not very comfortable on that Galio in the mid lane, to get a Vladimir fed, a Vladimir will be able to 1v9 this entire game.
He is practically a carry. So
Yes.
yeah, they're realizing that, oh, we don't need to do the lane switch. Just keep letting the Vlad push mid. It'll be fine.
Exactly, yeah. If bot lane just doesn't die, then Vlad will be able to carry.
I'm a little surprised with when the bot lane for Murray State is taking their backs, because it feels like they are leaving the tower rather defenseless. Like, it's not the most strategic backs.
Yes, they need to be pushing the waves a lot deeper, and to some extent, after mid lane went down, they didn't have any kind of...
We've got a lazy
pressure,
dive coming in from Jarvan and Vlad, and they pop in a little bit more damage, but it looks like they are going to rotate out again. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I'm a couple seconds behind, so I don't actually see...
Oh, Vi coming in on the Jarvan. Jarvan is trapped in the river, but he is going to dash out. Galio looks like he's going to go in to help. He puts in a ton of damage on Vi and on Vlad, and Vi actually takes down Jarvan after the Jarvan ult, and Vlad is going to eat up Cersei Bubbles again. That's a double kill for Bok Choy in the mid lane. Jarvan had that Vi kill. I'm not sure what happened there.
It looks like he canceled his auto. Cersei Bubbles played that really well, actually, with the perfect dive in and the taunt. Jarvan went in with his ult and then just choked. I mean, that could have been an easy, at least trade 1-for-1.
Right. Misclicks is misclicks. It's just what happens, I guess.
Yeah. When you click and you think your character will attack a little faster than they do, and they don't, so you try to move, cancel the auto, and take the death.
Mm-hmm. And with that, Bok Choy has tied up this game, both in gold and kills. But do they have it tied up in items, you think?
I'm looking at the builds right now, and it looks like they might be gunning for a slightly later game. So Ezreal's play on top lane is just to farm up and harass, and then with that Kleptomancy, he'll be able to get a bunch of extra gold off of his Q procs and autos. And then Vlad is just farming kills at this point.
Right. So let me ask you this. The Caitlyn, every third auto attack, it's a crit? Is that correct?
It's every time they hit a trap or she fires backwards with her net.
Oh, okay.
And that's automatically a crit.
We've got another fight in the mid lane. Jarvan and Galio just want to get this kill. I'm sorry, that was Shen, but blue team takes the dragon. The only reason I was asking about that is Caitlyn is doing pot shots on the tower and then hitting the enemy bot lane for a lot of damage. And I'm wondering if that's on purpose.
She does have that IE, which offers her 25% critical.
I gotcha. So Murray State finally taking an objective early in the game instead of letting them go. Bot lane is about to get its first tower. And for once, there was a Galio Vlad fight where Galio didn't die. Big dive in from Vi and Leona onto the Jaina. Caitlyn can't save her. Will she at least get some cleanup? The Shen comes down. The Ezreal teleports down. All the teleports. Bok Choy's dedicated everybody to this fight. They shut down the Caitlyn. Galio goes in hard on Vi. He's got 3 stun. There's a dive from Jarvan. Jarvan takes out Leona. But Ezreal takes out Galio. And Vi takes out Jarvan. And that is a fight won from Bok Choy. I really thought that dive in was going to clean up but everyone just sort of had a health pot. Something ticked off to give them all their health back, and now Shen is just in the bot lane. He shuts down the Vi, though, so that's awesome, and he's just fighting under the tower, trying to do everything he can to keep him sucking up those tower shots. And then comes Jaina. Maybe she should back up at this point. Yeah. And Murray State is actually going to lose first tower.
So Vladimir did a really good job there. Basically in that team fight, the only major concern they had was the Caitlyn, because you can keep a Shen off you pretty easily, especially with the Ezreal in the range of the people that Bok Choy has. So Vladimir instantly just went in and took out Caitlyn first thing, which was a perfect strategy because that was basically all their damage.
Right.
Shen is tanky, but he doesn't do damage yet. So then once Caitlyn was down, unfortunately the other damage dealers you have, Jarvan, doesn't do damage just yet. He doesn't have a damage item, only part of his jungle and some boots. And then Galio, who's having a rough game so far. So that was played really well. Vladimir,
top
6-1 now.
Plays. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, now Murray State is down 4 kills and 3,000 gold with just one team fight.
And this is a pattern we see pretty consistently with Murray State. Actually, their early game aggression tends to be rewarded 9 times out of 10, but then the other team kind of figures out the weak point. And then I actually talked about it in the last stream, the uneven lanes where bot lane's doing well, jungle's doing okay, mid lane's having a struggle, and then bot lane's doing well.
They're really trying to get this Vlad. They know they need to shut him down. They've got Galio and Jaina on him now. We also have a fight in the top lane against Ezreal and Jarvan and Vi. They shut down the Ezreal. The Vi is full health, though, but Shen and Jarvan can definitely put in the damage. But in comes the Xayah. Are they going to get the Xayah first? No. The Xayah shuts down the Jarvan, and Shen is going to go down, too, without any kills. And Vlad was able to 1v2 the Galio-Jaina combo as well. So, you know, and Red Team goes ahead and takes the Rift Herald, because why not? And they're going to send it up top lane. Bot lanes will be swapping here, so the Caitlyn will be up here to do some damage. But oh, they've locked down that. Oh, she's not close enough. I really thought she was going to get that Vi real quick, but that wasn't going to happen. And now the Vlad, having all this HP, he's just able to tower dive. Wow.
Yeah, once Vlad reaches this point, there's not much you can do now. There are a whole lot of things that should have happened before it reached this point of just Vlad being incredibly fed. Right.
He can get out of everything at this point. The Jarvan gets dropped down by Leona after Jarvan and Shen both try to dive on the Vlad, and he just dips out. And the Vi catching the Jaina in the bush, and the Jaina is actually going to get away.
Pretty incredible how confident this Vlad is. It's very obviously a Vlad player because he's playing everything right on the edge and surviving every time.
Yep.
I would bet he has quite a few Vlad games.
Has quite a few Vlad games under his belt. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like Murray State is really good at these lane fights, but when the enemy team starts to actually team up, it all falls apart for Murray State.
And Murray State's team fight, looking at it, it isn't terrible, actually. Assuming Shen and Jarvan can go in first and Galio right afterwards, if you can keep everybody off and let Caitlyn get in those crits, the team fight should go okay. But if Vi and Vladimir jump right onto the Caitlyn's pretty much their only hope for winning these team fights. Nobody else is going to be able to put out enough damage to be able to counter the Vladimir's healing.
Right. Murray State has some vision now in the Dragon Pit. They're actually going to notice Bok Choy getting ready to start this fight, but I'm not sure there's anything they're going to be able to do about it.
And this is a really important dragon because the second Infernal will give 17% ability power boost, and Vlad's healing scales off of his ability power. So if they get that, then the amount he can heal will heal by 7% every time he casts his Q.
And yeah, they got it. Bok Choy has the second dragon, but Murray State took a tower in response. Sadly, though, Bok Choy had already taken a second tower, so Bok Choy is still up this game. 7 kills and around 4,000 gold. Murray State loses another turret. And I don't know. They really maybe need to group up and fight as one big team and just see how it plays out. They're still trying to do these 2v2 fights and these 2v1 fights, and it's not working out.
So I'm looking at Murray State's build right now, and I actually disagree with what they're choosing to build. I would have liked to have seen something like Thornmail on...
Oh, a random long shot from Ezreal kills Jaina while she was trying to back.
Oh, no.
You know that doesn't feel good. So, I'm sorry, you were saying about the builds.
Oh, no,
you don't
I
agree
just saw
with
that
it?
happen. That is heartbreaking.
That
They have
is.
so much vision in that lane. They just waited. But yes, I would have liked to have seen an item like Thornmail on Shen, which will prevent Vlad's healing. And then Caitlyn's actually doing the right thing with that Executioner's Calling, which will help prevent healing as well. But Galio opted for his Hextech Proto Belt first, and Mercury Treads before that Marilla Nomicon. So there are things they can be doing, and aside from Caitlyn, it doesn't look like anyone's doing that. Shen to some extent with the Spectre's Cowl.
Galio goes in on Vlad thinking he's got a good fight, but it turns out there's really not. He's got a little support from Shen. He goes in hard on the Zion, shuts her down, but Galio's definitely going to go down to Vlad. Jarvan fighting the Vlad in deep while Shen is pushing on to the Ezreal. Ezreal gets shut down by the Caitlyn. And did Murray State get the Vlad? They finally took the Vlad down, and they're still going in hard on. They're going to get this by, no problem. That's a double kill on the Caitlyn, which is even more gold. And that's under a minute before Baron spawns. Was that a strategic play from Murray State or just a lucky team fight?
I would actually bet that was a lucky team fight because it seems like Galio went in maybe with just plans of Shen going in with him, and then when everybody else showed up, Murray State thought, oh shoot, and then kind of accidentally got Bok Choy out.
Right. They did exactly like what their comp is built to do on accident.
It was interesting. I was watching Jarvan take down the Vladimir. It was actually Jarvan that got the kill, which I'm not upset about because he'll be able to tank up. But he was just autoing him to death because his build is much more auto heavy. He took that Stalker's Blade Warrior, which gives him attack damage instead of tank. So that's kind of Vlad's weakness, is just that autoing him over and over because his Q has a cooldown, but auto doesn't have cooldown.
All right.
So we will see where this goes. I'm excited.
Bok Choy is clearing the vision out. They're making sure that these wards that Murray State are placing are not effective, which is pretty a pretty top level play, really. You know, the vision fight is what's going to happen from minute 20 on. Especially,
I would assume Bok Choy thinks that Murray State did that on purpose, and was thinking that, oh, they had vision everywhere. That's how they knew to go in and catch us out. Right. And so now, before they take any kind of jungle team fights again, they want to make sure Murray State doesn't have any vision around, which is pretty high level play, as you were saying. And looking at the vision score, Murray's vision score is actually surprisingly low, except for Janna.
Yeah.
If you want to be shooting, a good vision score is 2 per minute. So at 40, Janna's right on the money. At 33, not so much. And then 1 per minute for all the other players. Yep, so if you look, Murray State's about half that. Yeah. But Bok Choy is close.
There's a lot more vision being purchased by all members of the Bok Choy team. And yes, they are cleaning up these wars. So Murray State is regrouping, and they're pushed back. It looks like Bok Choy is waiting for the fight. No one's baiting the Baron pit, which I appreciate. Here comes Vlad. Nope, he's going to leave that alone. Good from Galio to back up this time. I think he's realized at this point the Vlad fight is not his to win.
I'm sad it took him 6 deaths for that, though.
It did take a little while, but he does realize it now. And yeah, another dragon is up, and Bok Choy is going to start it, and they are probably going to go fairly uncontested. You know, they've got Ezreal Garden. Jaina puts in a ward, but the dragon's going to go down. I don't think Jarvan's going to make it in. Yeah, red team steals the dragon. Jarvan dives in for the team fight, but he is almost instantly deleted. He gets some shields. He drops the ult. Bok Choy's low. Murray State is low. There's fighting going on all over the place. Vlad shuts down the Caitlyn. Vlad gets a triple kill out of that. And the ace. Murray State just probably target focus not the best. Leona has the least amount of HP right now, and they get the Vi, but that's a free Baron for Bok Choy.
Yeah, again, watching that just a few seconds behind you, I was knowing, as you were saying, I was knowing what to expect, but yeah, Murray, this is the disadvantage of building Jarvan 4 as an attack. You do sacrifice one of your tanks, and even though you do have Galio, who's more of a bruiser, and Shen, who's very tanky, you kind of have to decide if that's worth it with someone as strong as Xayah, Ezreal, and Vladar. Is it worth it to give up that extra tank? And so far, it's feeling like no,
right.
that wasn't a good choice.
I wonder if that's why they picked the Galio this game as opposed to last week. They were like, all right, if you have to build Jarvan, more of a damage play, then we'll pick a tankier mid lane.
Right. And I do know that's Knife Cloud's kind of bread and butter is his AD Jarvan.
Mm-hmm.
But that Jarvan is so engage heavy. His ult is based around sitting there, being able to take damage with the idea that whoever he caught will take more damage. Yeah. And if you're building full AD, you miss out on that.
We got a lot of pings going on. It looks like Bok Choy's coming in to close up. Leona's charging in something here. We've got a dive coming in from Vlad onto the Caitlyn. Shuts her down instantly. The Shen is on top of the Vlad. He gets weakened. Shen is still fighting on the Vlad. He cannot kill this Vlad. He finally gets him. But Leona and Ezreal come in to clean up on Shen. And that is 4 more deaths for Murray State. The only one still alive is Jarvan, and he is running for his life right now. He locks down the Vi under tower, and the tower is just not putting any damage yet. She's still alive with minimal HP, and they are going to get the inhibitor, and they shut down Jarvan. Murray State has nothing to do at this point but watch their towers die. In comes the Jaina. She throws in a tornado. Vi is going to survive that and almost kill the Jaina. Caitlyn's in now. She's popping in the damage on the Ezreal. Ezreal's going to draw. No, he's not. Ezreal gets by. Caitlyn shuts down the Vi. Caitlyn has got to kill every minion on the map right now because otherwise they will completely destroy this other turret protecting the Nexus, and it's the only defense left for Murray State. And she is doing everything she can to make sure that static shiv goes off. And they are desperate at this point. Murray State has nothing left in the tank. Inhibitors down across the board. They have 1 inhibitor left in the bot lane. And another shutdown comes out from Shen, putting down the Ezreal. It's 150 gold, but it's not enough. Murray State is going to have to turtle up here. And you hate to see that because it just really usually means a slowdown for the end.
Yeah, Murray State, they're getting separated a lot.
Yep.
Bok Choy knows that their individual fight is much better than Murray State's individual fight. You got Xayah with a Leona. You'll never touch the Xayah. Leona's got 3 CCs. Xayah has 2 CCs. So, I mean, you've got almost 10 seconds of CC if they have all their cooldowns up. So
yeah.
If Leona and Xayah go off on their own and Vladimir goes off on his own and Ezreal off on his own, Murray State can't 1v1 them.
We got another fight going on from the Galio and the Vlad, and Galio's actually winning this fight. He gets some backup from the Jaina, but a teleport's going to come in from Bok Choy. Who's it going to be that comes to help? It's the Ezreal. They still haven't killed this Vlad yet. With 3 on, Shen shuts down the Vlad, but Ezreal's here. Leona's here. Shen goes hard on the Ezreal, but Vi takes out Galio, and now it's 4v2. Bok Choy just cleaning up. Vi gets a double kill off the Jaina. Caitlyn is coming in. I'm not sure why Murray State is still instigating this fight. And now it is 3v2 Murray State, but Vi gets the Caitlyn. And Knife Cloud takes out the Vi. But I'm pretty sure Knife Cloud got taken out by the Zara. And now Murray State is just a Shen and a Jarvan against a Leona that's literally just walking away. And the Shen finally shuts down Leona. And Murray State gets their first ace of the game. Oh.
I've never seen such a bronze-looking team fight.
Rick Fox would be jealous because he's still in iron, but yeah. Galio is back here trying to protect the Nexus, and they actually lose the other turret. due to that giant team fight. So now the Nexus is completely undefended. And the Ace really doesn't net Murray State anything. They weren't able to get any towers. They weren't able to move the waves in the opposite direction. They didn't get any bonus vision from this. What do you do as Murray State now?
Well, you start praying first.
Right.
But after you finish that, so watching that fight, the kind of issue that I was seeing was Murray State was tunnel visioning. So Caitlyn went in too deep to try and get the Xayah because she thought she could kill him. But the crit left Xayah with maybe 20 health in the tank. But then that got Caitlyn close enough for the Vi to be able to just delete her instantly because that's what Vi does.
Right.
So I would say Murray State, their best hope is for Caitlyn not to step up. Caitlyn can't be going for Xayah.
We're about to have the last team fight of the game, guaranteed. All of Bok Choy is coming down the mid lane. Jaina was completely out of place, really. And now Murray State is regrouped here in the mid lane. This fight is definitely going to be the decider. Shen is in the top lane. It's like you said right now, it looks like Murray State is a little bit more split up than they really need to be. Bok Choy is just waiting for these minion waves, and it looks like actually they have bailed out. And I guess they're going for a second Baron play. I really thought that was about to be the end of the game.
It does look like they're going for Baron because once they have Baron, they will have double super minions, which will be incredibly hard to. That'll split Murray State, which is kind of their weakness at this point, has been just being split up the whole time. So if you've got Baron empowered super minions, then Murray State will be even more split up. And Bok Choy knows that if they can split Murray State up, they can win all the 1v1s separately, but as a team fight, it can be a toss-up, which we just saw because Murray State.
And there was the team fight that finished the game. That ace is the end. This will put the series at 1-1 because Bok Choy took a loss to have a substitute in. There's nothing Murray State can do at this point. Nobody will res in time to kill the Nexus. I'm not even sure why they focused on that inhibitor. And that's GG. Game 2 technically goes to Bok Choy.
And again, so it was kind of what I talked about early in the game.